Imagine a train, swathed in luxury, poised to embark on an inaugural journey, only to vanish without a trace in a tunnel and emerge centuries earlier. It's an enigma that defies logic, blending the boundaries of time and challenging our understanding of reality. As we journey through this tale of the Zanetti train and its mysterious disappearance, we are compelled to question: is it possible for a mode of transport to traverse not just distance, but time itself? Dive in and explore the fascinating crossroads of history, mystery, and perhaps a glitch in the fabric of time. The grand inauguration of Zanetti's luxury train. June 14, 1911, was marked with anticipation in the bustling city of Rome. A symphony of voices and footsteps echoed through the vast expanse of the central railway station. Parents hushed their excited children while vendors hawked their wares, trying to capitalize on the large turnout. For that day was not just any ordinary day in Rome. It was the day the city would witness the grand launch of the Zanetti Company's most luxurious train. Months of rumors and hushed conversations in elite social circles had culminated in this much-awaited event. The Zanetti train was no ordinary locomotive. It was the epitome of luxury and a testament to the grandeur of the age. News of its opulent interiors, unmatched service, and state-of-the-art amenities had spread like wildfire, turning the inaugural journey into an event the wealthy and influential simply couldn't afford to miss. Even from a distance, the train looked majestic. Its gleaming exterior shone under the Italian sun, reflecting the dreams and aspirations of an era that believed in limitless possibilities. Up close, its intricacies were even more breathtaking: delicate engravings on its doors, golden handles, and plush red carpets that beckoned passengers aboard. The air was thick with anticipation. Workers hustled, ensuring that every detail was perfect for the afternoon's journey. The coal was stocked, the wheels oiled, and the carriages inspected meticulously for any imperfections. Even the tracks underwent a last-minute check, for today they would bear the weight of not just a train, but a nation's pride. On board, passengers explored their surroundings with wide-eyed wonder. The Zanetti wasn't just a train. It was a floating palace. A dedicated dining car boasted a menu crafted by Italy's most renowned chefs, with dishes paired with the finest wines sourced from the rolling vineyards of Tuscany and beyond. The seats, more akin to plush thrones than anything found on a typical train, could be effortlessly transformed into comfortable beds. And, for the first time for many on board, the marvel of electric light was at their fingertips. Young children, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of these bulbs, listened intently to their parents' hushed conversations about the journey ahead. Many couldn't comprehend the distance or the destinations, but they understood the importance. They were aboard a vessel of the future, a harbinger of the wonders the new century promised. As the hands of the clock edged closer to the departure hour, the final calls for boarding echoed through the station. The engine hissed, steam enveloping the platform in a thick white mist, signaling the beginning of a voyage that was expected to redefine rail travel. And then, with a final whistle that pierced the afternoon air, the Zanetti began its journey. Wheels clattered against the tracks, and the city of Rome began to recede in the background. The adventure had begun, carrying with it the hopes of a generation eager for progress and luxury. A glimpse of the luxurious interiors. As the Zanetti chugged steadily through the Italian countryside, the outside world faded into a blurred landscape of green fields and distant mountains. Inside, however, the train was alive with activity, as passengers began to familiarize themselves with their surroundings. Every corner of the train seemed to whisper tales of opulence and meticulous attention to detail, capturing the spirit of an era where grandeur was not merely appreciated, but expected. The interiors were a masterclass in design and luxury. Rich mahogany walls, polished to a high shine, reflected the soft golden light emitted by ornate chandeliers that dangled gracefully from the ceilings. These were complemented by deep burgundy drapes tied back with golden tassels, revealing expansive windows that offered panoramic views of the world outside. The carriages were spacious, exuding a warmth and comfort seldom associated with train travel. Each compartment was a cocoon of privacy, with plush velvet seats that promised comfort for the long journey ahead. Passengers sunk into them, reveling in their softness, and marveled at the exquisite embroidery on the cushions, each stitch telling a story of craftsmanship and elegance. Adjacent to the dining area, a lounge invited passengers to relax and socialize. Here, soft leather sofas formed cozy nooks where travelers could share stories, play card games, or simply gaze out of the windows, lost in thought. A bar, manned by a skilled bartender, offered an array of drinks, from aged wines to sparkling champagnes. In the background, a gramophone played gentle tunes, setting a mood of relaxation and sophistication. For those who sought privacy, the sleeper cabins were a haven. Unlike the cramped quarters of most trains, these were spacious rooms complete with individual beds dressed in the finest linen. At night, the soft glow from bedside lamps illuminated pages of books as travelers read, journaled, or simply drifted off to sleep, rocked gently by the rhythm of the rails. Yet what truly set the Zanetti apart was not just its tangible luxuries, but the sense of promise it carried. This was not merely a mode of transportation, it was a transformative experience. Passengers didn't just travel, they were transported, not only across geographical distances, but through an elevated realm of luxury and refinement. Conversations were filled with hopes and dreams, and many spoke of the destinations they were heading to, the people they would meet, and the memories they would create. The Zanetti was more than a train. It was a vessel of aspirations. A mysterious afternoon in 1508. April 7th, 1508 was a day like any other for the monks residing in a secluded monastery nestled in the Italian hills. The morning rituals were observed with devout precision, the monastery's bells tolling in the distance, marking hours of prayer and reflection. By midday, a group of monks set out toward the mountainside, their robes swaying with each step, baskets in hand to collect ripe moras for the evening meal. The sun bathed the landscape in a warm, golden hue, and the sky was an expanse of cerulean, not a cloud in sight. Birds sang from the treetops, their melodies intertwining with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant murmur of a bubbling brook. Nature, in all its serenity, seemed to be in perfect harmony. But as afternoon approached, a peculiar phenomenon began to unfold. The edges of the horizon started to blur, giving way to an unfamiliar mist. Within moments, what was once a clear day was now shrouded in a dense, almost ethereal fog that rolled in from all directions, swallowing up the mountains, trees, and eventually, the monastery itself. This was no ordinary mist. It was thick, suffocating, and reduced visibility to a mere few meters. The tranquility of the day was instantly shattered. The world outside became muffled, the songs of birds silenced, the bubbling brook stilled, and even the wind seemed to have retreated in the face of this uncanny intrusion. A haunting stillness descended, broken only by the soft, uneasy murmurs of the monks as they tried to make sense of the sudden transformation. Whispers of fear and confusion spread among them. Some believed it was a sign from the heavens, a divine message or warning. Others whispered about dark legends, tales of otherworldly phenomena, and omens of impending doom. As the fog grew denser, so did their fears. The once familiar surroundings became alien, as if the world they knew had been replaced by a shadowy realm of uncertainty. Paralyzed by a mix of fear and curiosity, the monks could only watch as these mysterious beings ventured closer, their expressions equally bewildered. It was as if two worlds, separated by centuries, had suddenly collided in a single moment in time. The eerie silence was broken only by the occasional gasp or muttered prayer from the monks, who clutched their rosaries tighter, seeking solace and protection. As quickly as it had arrived, the fog began to recede. Slowly, the world outside started to regain its familiar form. The mountains reappeared, and the distant sounds of nature resumed. And just as mysteriously as they had appeared, the ghostly figures began to fade away, swallowed once more by the retreating mist. The monks, still reeling from the bewildering encounter, returned to their monastery with a tale that would be whispered for generations. An ordinary afternoon had turned into an experience that defied explanation, challenging their understanding of the world and their place in it. From modernity to antiquity, apparitions from the future. In the dimly lit confines of the monastery's library, the monks gathered after the strange incident on the mountainside. The room was filled with an intense murmur as they eagerly shared their experiences, trying to piece together the puzzle of the afternoon's events. Amidst the scrolls, manuscripts, and ancient tomes that lined the walls, the monks sought answers to the enigma they had witnessed. Elder Brother Matteo, known for his wisdom and vast knowledge, took the floor. He described with meticulous detail the appearances of the mysterious figures that had emerged from the fog. Their clothes, unlike the familiar tunics and robes of their time, seemed otherworldly. Men donned bizarre suits with shiny buttons, while the women wore dresses of simple yet sophisticated design, all in colors and fabrics that were unfamiliar to the 16th century eye. Brother Pietro recounted how he had attempted to approach one of the figures, a woman who looked equally startled and in awe. He described her shoes, which bore no resemblance to the customary sandals and boots of their era. They were sleek, polished, and had heels that elevated her stature. Brother Luca, always observant, noted the intricacies of their accessories. He spoke of the strange spectacles some wore, not made of the usual round glass but shaped differently and seemingly clearer. He also described odd wrist ornaments that some of them constantly glanced at, as if they held some significance or knowledge. But it wasn't just their attire that bewildered the monks. It was their demeanor. These apparitions seemed equally stunned, their eyes wide as they tried to make sense of their surroundings. They whispered among themselves, their language familiar yet spoken with a cadence and use of words that sounded evolved, more sophisticated. The monks debated fervently. Could these be angels sent from the heavens, bearing messages or warnings? But angels, as described in their scriptures, didn't wear such attire. Perhaps they were travelers from distant lands, from regions of the world the monks had yet to learn about. But no known ship or caravan brought tales of such attire. As hours turned into days, the monastery became a hub of discussion and speculation. Word of the mysterious event spread beyond its walls, attracting scholars, theologians, and the curious from nearby villages and towns. Theories abounded. Some said it was a vision of purgatory, where souls wandered in confusion. Others speculated that the mist was a tear in the veil between the world of the living and the realm of spirits. To many, the idea was pure heresy. Time was ordained by the Almighty, each moment predestined in its order. But for others, the thought offered an explanation to the inexplicable. The Zanetti train, with its tales of luxury and marvels of the 20th century, became central to this theory. Perhaps the train had journeyed not just through the Italian countryside, but through time itself, crossing paths with a 16th century mountainside. Back to 1911. The fateful journey through Lombardian mountains. The rhythm of the Zanetti train on its tracks was hypnotic. It was the heartbeat of a mechanical marvel, pulsing through the Lombardian landscape, making its way through valleys, over bridges, and into the hearts of the passengers aboard. The world outside was a picturesque tableau of Italy's finest scenery. Majestic mountains rose in the distance, their peaks kissed by the setting sun, and verdant meadows stretched as far as the eye could see. Inside, the atmosphere was electric. Laughter and animated conversations filled the luxurious compartments. Passengers recounted their explorations of the train, sharing tales of delightful dishes savored and the wondrous views they'd witnessed. Many stood by the windows, eager to catch a glimpse of the much-talked-about spectacle that lay ahead. The grand tunnel carved through the heart of the Lombardian mountains. As the Zanetti approached the mountain range, an air of excitement permeated the train. This tunnel was not just a testament to engineering prowess, but it also represented a significant part of the journey, a transition from the world of the familiar to the anticipation of the unknown that lay beyond the mountains. The entrance to the tunnel loomed ahead, a dark void that seemed to swallow the sun's remaining light. The contrast was stark, as the warm hues of the Lombardian evening gave way to an engulfing blackness. One by one, the train's carriages entered the tunnel, and the world outside disappeared. Inside the Zanetti, the transition was palpable. The gentle hum of conversations was replaced by a hushed silence, broken only by the muffled sounds of the train on its tracks. The luxurious compartments, once bathed in natural light, were now illuminated by the soft glow of electric bulbs. For many on board, this was their first experience in such darkness, and it was both thrilling and unsettling. Minutes felt like hours. The darkness outside was impenetrable, and the only sense of movement was the rhythmic vibrations of the train. But as the journey through the tunnel continued, something began to change. A cold draft started to permeate the compartments, and with it came an unexpected guest, a thick, dense fog. This was no ordinary mist. It seemed to seep through the very walls of the train, enveloping everything in its path. Passengers looked at each other in bewilderment. Whispers of concern spread through the carriages. How could fog appear inside a tunnel? And why was it so unnaturally cold? Suddenly in the distance, a bright light appeared. At first, it was just a pinprick, but it rapidly grew in size and intensity. The train was approaching it at full speed, and it was hurtling towards the train with equal velocity. It wasn't the comforting glow of the tunnel's exit, it was something otherworldly, something that defied explanation. In the engine room, the machinista, with eyes widened in terror, realized the gravity of the situation. The brakes were applied with full force, sending jolts through the carriages. But the light grew closer, and the humming sound became deafening. Confronting the unknown, the brilliant light ahead. As the Zanetti train emerged from the ominous embrace of the tunnel, the world outside seemed to pause. The vibrant landscapes of Lombardy, once teeming with life and color, now took on a dreamlike quality. Time, which had always flowed in a predictable rhythm, now felt disjointed, suspended between moments. Inside the train, passengers sat in stunned silence. The opulence of their surroundings, a stark contrast to the palpable tension in the air, seemed almost surreal. Whispers filled the carriages as they attempted to make sense of what they had just experienced. The mysterious fog, the unsettling cold, the haunting hum, and the blinding light. All these elements painted a picture that was difficult to comprehend, let alone explain. At the heart of their discussions was the inexplicable light that had rapidly approached the train. Some described it as a radiant orb, pulsing with energy, while others saw it as a tunnel of brilliance, drawing everything into its core. But all agreed on one thing: its intensity was unlike anything they had ever witnessed. Elderly Mr. Bianchi, a seasoned traveler, recounted tales of the northern lights he'd seen in his youth, a natural phenomenon of dazzling beauty. Yet even that paled in comparison to the brilliance they had just encountered. Young Isabella, with wide-eyed wonder, spoke of it as a doorway to another realm, a gateway to the stars, echoing stories she had heard from her grandmother. But amidst the speculations and theories, a growing sense of unease settled in. The train's crew, usually a beacon of calm and assurance, seemed equally perturbed. Hushed conversations among them hinted at technical anomalies, of instruments behaving erratically, and of compasses spinning wildly, their needles refusing to settle. The machinista, his face pale and lined with stress, emerged from the engine room. He spoke of the train systems experiencing sudden surges of energy, of dials and gauges oscillating wildly, and of an unexplainable magnetic pull from the brilliant light ahead. Despite his years of experience, he confessed to being at a loss, unable to navigate the unfolding mystery. A sense of anticipation gripped the passengers. Many gathered in the viewing car, their faces pressed against the glass, trying to decipher the changing landscape. Others retreated to their compartments, seeking solace in prayer or the comfort of loved ones. As minutes turned into hours, the brilliant light ahead grew even more luminous, its radiance filling the entire horizon. The Zanetti, now seemingly drawn by an unseen force, accelerated towards it. The boundary between the train and the light began to blur, and the very fabric of reality seemed to ripple and warp. The unresolved mystery. Missing train and its passengers. In the days that followed the Zanetti's fateful journey through the Lombardian mountains, the news of its inexplicable disappearance spread like wildfire. Newspapers from Rome to Milan carried headlines detailing the enigma of the vanished luxury train. Families of the passengers, filled with hope and anxiety, flocked to the station, yearning for any news about their loved ones. The local authorities, under immense pressure, initiated one of the most extensive search operations the region had ever seen. Every inch of the tunnel was examined, and teams of investigators combed the surrounding areas. However, as days turned into weeks, the search yielded no tangible results. It was as if the Zanetti, with all its opulence and passengers, had vanished into thin air. The local populace, steeped in folklore and superstitions, began sharing whispered tales about the cursed tunnel and the mountains that hid age-old secrets. Some spoke of ghostly apparitions that roamed the tracks at night, while others believed that the train had crossed into another dimension, forever lost in the annals of time and space. But the most compelling account came from two survivors, members of the train's crew. Found wandering near the mouth of the tunnel, disoriented and in a state of shock, their testimonies provided a chilling insight into the train's last moments. The duo spoke of an ominous sensation as the train delved deeper into the tunnel. The familiar rhythm of the engine was overshadowed by an otherworldly hum that resonated throughout the carriages. As the unsettling fog enveloped the train, the interiors took on an ethereal glow, punctuated by shadows that seemed to flit around, defying logic and reason. As months turned into years, the story of the Zanetti's disappearance became a legend. Scholars and historians debated its implications, while authors and filmmakers sought inspiration in its mysterious tale. Theories ranged from wormholes and time warps to extraterrestrial interventions. Yet, despite all speculations, the Zanetti's fate remained an unresolved enigma. The tunnel, once a marvel of engineering, took on a somber tone. Many avoided it, and those who dared to venture through did so with trepidation, fearing they too would be claimed by the inexplicable forces within. Over time, a memorial was erected near the tunnel's entrance, honoring the memory of the passengers and serving as a poignant reminder of the journey that had no end. As the decades passed, the Zanetti story faded from collective memory, relegated to history books and tales told by the elderly to curious children on long winter nights. Yet, its legacy lingered, a haunting testament to the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding, waiting for the right moment to intertwine with our destinies. Bridging two eras. Was it a twist in space-time? The inexplicable events surrounding the Zanetti train and the accounts from the year 1508 presented a tantalizing puzzle that intrigued both the layman and the scholar. As the tales of the two events interwove, an audacious hypothesis began to take form. Could these occurrences be a manifestation of a tear or twist in the fabric of space-time? Throughout the ages, humanity's understanding of time has undergone numerous evolutions. Ancient civilizations viewed it as cyclical, an endless loop of creation and destruction. With the advancement of science and the work of luminaries like Sir Isaac Newton, time was perceived as an unyielding river flowing in one direction. However, the 20th century, with its groundbreaking strides in physics, presented a revolutionary perspective. Albert Einstein, with his theory of relativity, proposed that time and space were interlinked, forming a continuum. Time, in this paradigm, was not absolute but relative, its flow affected by factors such as gravity and velocity. This theory opened the door to numerous possibilities, including the intriguing concept of time travel. Now, with the intertwined tales of the Zanetti and the monks, this theoretical possibility demanded exploration. Was the radiant light in the tunnel a wormhole, a passage through space-time as posited by many physicists? Could the dense, otherworldly fog have been an event horizon, the boundary marking the point of no return in such a wormhole? The peculiar attire of the apparitions seen by the monks, eerily reminiscent of the early 20th century fashion, provided a compelling piece in this jigsaw puzzle. Their behavior, indicative of shock and disorientation, mirrored the expected reactions of individuals thrust into an unfamiliar era. Yet, for every theory proposed, there were counter-arguments. Many in the scientific community were skeptical of such space-time distortions occurring naturally. They argued that the energy required for creating a stable wormhole, for instance, was beyond astronomical. Moreover, no empirical evidence supported the idea of large objects, such as a train, traveling through them. Parallel to the scientific debates were discussions in philosophical and metaphysical circles. Spiritual leaders and thinkers delved into the implications of such events on human understanding of existence, destiny, and the divine. The monks' interpretation of the event as a divine or supernatural occurrence was not uncommon in eras where science had not yet provided explanations for the inexplicable. As the years turned into decades, the fervor around the Zanetti mystery ebbed and flowed. Documentaries, academic papers, and fictional adaptations kept the story alive, each offering its interpretation and perspective. In the end, while the events of the Zanetti train and the mysterious afternoon in 1508 remain intertwined, they also remain shrouded in mystery. The bridge between these two eras, whether a twist in space-time or a series of inexplicable coincidences, continues to challenge our understanding of the universe. Perhaps, in the vast tapestry of existence, there lie threads that occasionally cross, intertwine, or even knot up, creating ripples that we perceive as anomalies. Or perhaps, as many stories often do, the tale of the Zanetti serves as a reminder of the endless possibilities and mysteries that our universe holds, waiting for the right moment, the right twist, to unveil themselves.